Season's greetings, everyone. We are live from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm your host and your hero, Kevin Cerrito, joined alongside the author of Secret Memphis and the blogger over at the I Love Memphis blog. Holly Whitfield is here. Holly, how are you?
I am great. I am feeling really festive today.
I like it. You got your New Year's jacket on.
Yeah, it's a little sparkly.
For very appropriate today because we're going to look ahead to 2021 on this live stream. We're back for the second day in a row. If you missed it yesterday, we were streaming live here, recapping 2020, which was not as depressing as one may think as you take a look back.
It was actually really fun and cathartic and great, and I felt better afterwards because we just focused on mostly the positive for the whole hour.
Yeah, you can't ignore some things that happened this year, but yeah, there was definitely some very good positive things that happened. If you missed it, it will be up on the I Love Memphis podcast feed, on the Cerrito Entertainment podcast feed, wherever you get your podcast. You can listen to it, or you can go right after this and watch it live on the Cerrito Entertainment YouTube, or on either one of our Twitter pages and on Twitch as well. So it's out there for you to catch up on what happened in 2020. But today we're looking forward to 2021, and we've got to start today's show talking about the big news of the day, the one thing we know that will not be happening in 2021, and that is the Beale Street Music Fest. The news broke in the past couple of hours. Holly, what do we know at this hour?
Really, all we know is that Beale Street Music Festival is not happening in 2021. It is quote unquote postponed again until 2022. But as of right now, the Bbq Fest, aka World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest, is on for 2021. You can sign your team up now. They said that the Bbq Fest is going to be different. It's going to have some COVID-19 procedures, protocols, something about limiting number of people. They used the word smaller, I believe, was the word they used. That was pretty vague. We don't know exactly what the differences are going to be for the barbecue competition, but we do know that they just said they could not put on Beale Street Music Festival in 5 months because of the pandemic. So that was I was not expecting to get that news this afternoon. I was working. We were in the middle of our I Love Memphis Tourism holiday Zoom celebration, and I saw that tweet come through at exactly 1 p.m. So I was like, oh, well, Kevin and I are going to talk about this today. So not really the news we wanted to hear.
Not at all. I mean, we're here. There's going to be stuff happening in 2021, and we're going to talk about it. But Beale Street Music Fest not happening is a big deal, because I remember about a year ago this time we were talking on the radio about how it's crazy how difference a year makes. I can complain on the radio a year ago that they were announcing the festival lineup early instead of during the traditional February rumors news drop that they would do for the music festival. And here we are a year later. It's not even happening at all. What is it? The second time they've canceled Music Fest in just the past few months, right? Because it took them a long time. They went from Memphis in May. Took a long time. They kept thinking they were going to have the festival this year. They rescheduled it for the fall, and then it got canceled. So for the second time this year, they've canceled Music Fest, and it'll be for the second consecutive year without it. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I wonder what the motivation is here, not to say, hey, we're going to try to do the October Beale Street Music Fest.
I think, like a lot of different people and companies and organizations, I know in their longer release on their website, they mentioned they've lost almost $2 million in revenue. I know that a lot of their staff has had to move on and find other employment. That's just the real deal. So while it's a real bummer to hear that already, and they're not even going to try, on the other hand, it may be a smarter and better decision for Memphis in May as a nonprofit, and for their staff and for us, because we don't have to sit around now and say, will they or won't they? We won't have to go through this process of am I going to buy tickets? Am I not going to buy tickets? Am I going to wait? Kind of all the drama is gone. And so we can hopefully kind of start fresh and have a really awesome comeback that is, all, full speed ahead, all cylinders firing for 2022 instead. So while it does stink to hear I kind of find the decision refreshing a little bit, frankly.
It will be interesting to follow whether or not the Bbq Fest will actually happen. I mean, they haven't canceled it yet. They said they've got ideas. It is something that it does happen usually in your pod, but like, let's be honest, like if your pod is the size of a Bbq Fest party, you've got too many people in your pod right now for COVID. And I just don't see how ice luges are COVID. Like Dr. Fauci, I don't think he would approve of doing ice luges right now, but I'm not sure. I don't want to quote the great Dr. Fauci on that. And also, I think this is going to serve as a rude awakening. And it's a time definitely that our community needs to be thinking about this, with the statistics coming out about our state this month, about our as well as our neighbors in northern Mississippi. That, I mean, this is serious. COVID is not over. Yes, the vaccine is on its way, and yes, 2021 will feel more normal than 2020 did, but it's going to be a minute, and it's not going to be 100% back to normal. I think this is I think some people are having to come to terms with right now this afternoon in Memphis, because if there's a moment when the NBA season got canceled and Tom Hanks got diagnosed with COVID on that same night, I think woke up America that this is something that's just serious, that it is here. And maybe today this is alerting folks that it's not over yet, and we're not going to be back partying again in May for Memphis in May like we would usually, because people were holding out hope that that was going to happen.
Yeah, they were, but like I said, I am glad that they went ahead and made the call, so we're not kind of doing this back and forth, will they or won't they? We're not debating. We just know what's going to happen. So that's the baby, tiny, thin silver lining that I'm looking at today.
You can't. I'm glad that they made the decision now, and that it is out there, and I think it's helpful for the community, and because I wasn't sure, you weren't sure either. Like, were they going to try to do this, and we're going to try to do it with lower numbers? Like you're having to book bands that will have to play, and I'm sure that was a huge factor in canceling, because how can you get anybody to commit, and then by the time you're going to be able to, it's just real tricky. But right now Bbq Fest is still happening. Also can confirm there will be no Sunset Symphony as well in 2021, right?
No, they are doing
the Sunset Symphony.
They are doing the Great American River Run though, which is Memorial Day weekend. They're gonna space out runners and do protocols for that. So we may have 2 Memphis in May events in 2021. Honestly, I feel like we don't really, and this is something I'm going to be thinking about throughout our conversation today, we don't really know what it's going to be like next week, much less in 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 months. So, there's no reason to not have some optimism, because we don't really know how things are going to go. With the vaccine coming into the population, it's going to take a really long time for that to fully take us back to normal. But I am a little bit optimistic for at least after the holidays, a couple of weeks after the holidays. So yeah, a lot of this year. So this is an annual tradition for some of y'all tuning in might know that every year for many years now, we're saying over 5. I think it's 6 or 7 possible years that we've done this, whether it was on the I Love Memphis podcast or my radio show, that Holly and I have gotten together and to preview the next year. And we're not making predictions. We're looking at, this is what's scheduled to happen. This could possibly happen because we know it's in the works. And looking ahead. I mean, and at this point, I'm glad it came on the day of this announcement that we're getting together to do this, because it may help us as we not get too excited about some things that we would think might be happening today, because neither one of us are doctors, neither one of us are psychics either. We can't predict the future, but also we can't really know for sure where we will be in this pandemic. We do know there's a vaccine coming. It's here in the Mid-South already, so hopefully that it will spread around. So what else is in time for us to enjoy at least maybe half of? I'm hoping by 4th of July that we will start getting back. By 4th of July, I'm hoping. But again, I'm not an expert on that. Let's talk about 2021 now. We're streaming all over the place, folks. And wherever you're watching, if you want to get your comments in, you can comment
chat, depending on the service you're watching this on the different platforms. And we will see that. So if you have something you're looking forward to specifically in 2021, let us know. Right now, I know we're doing a public service, Holly, for these folks watching, to really tell them that there is hope and that there is some stuff coming down the line that will be awesome. So let's get right to it. Where do you want to start? 2021.
We could start with one event that we definitely know is going to happen. It's going to be virtual, but the virtual Memphis Beer Fest is back.
Oh, virtual Memphis Beer Fest. I will be there. I'll be hosting the virtual Memphis Beer Fest. And tickets are on sale now for the virtual Memphis Beer Festival. That was one that when we did that festival, I talked to you, Holly, I talked to a ton of other folks about virtual Memphis Beer Fest when it happens. Like, should we do another one of these? And that is the hardest part of what I've been trying to do throughout this pandemic. And it's really hard for anyone who's trying to put on events or just know like what is happening, what's it going to be like in the next 2 months. And everything keeps changing. And what we thought was going to be like is going to be different because of the vaccine now. But it's not as different as we thought a couple weeks ago that it might be. So anyway, when we're trying to pick a date, thought spring was great. And I think it's still going to be a perfect time because we're still going to need to be having COVID safe events. So that's what the virtual Memphis Beer Fest 2 will be coming up this spring. You can get your tickets now. They make great holiday gifts for the beer lover on your list. Go to virtualmemphisbeerfest.com to get your virtual Memphis Beer Fest tickets for the holidays. The new beer we named at last year's festival, it's 901 Somewhere, will be debuting at the festival, and we'll have a whole new slate of beers. And we're partnering once again with the Madison Growler and Bottle Shop there, Cash Saver, to bring you virtual Memphis Beer Fest. Yes, that's definitely happening this coming March. Get your tickets now.
Yes, just really quickly, if someone did not do the first virtual Memphis Beer Festival, what it is you get together with the Madison Growler Shop. Taylor James picks out a slew of local, regional craft beers. You pay a flat fee. You get a whole bag of beers that you can then hang out in your backyard. I set up like TV in the backyard and was able to stream all your programming that you had on Zoom, streaming all day from music, Opera Memphis. You had all the brewers on there giving tasting notes, doing tastings, cheers, toast. That's what the word I'm looking for. Toast during the day. Right. So, it's great to see people's faces. It's an excuse to hang out with your household or your small pod outside. Hopefully we'll have a nice day in March, but that's really how it works. You get your ticket, you get some beers, and you tune in online. So I've had a lot of people kind of ask me if they didn't get a chance to do the first one, what it's like. And that's what it's like. It was really fun. Highly recommend. And I'm glad we have one thing for sure that we know is going to happen. But we have a lot of things opening. We have some new restaurants that we know about, and there's a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah. So Beer Fest 2 definitely is going to happen. Local celebrities involved. We had with Opera Memphis, all the music performances. We're getting all that set up now. We're working on it to make sure we have a fun event that feels interactive. That all of my events that I am hosting, I just want for one moment, just one moment for you to forget that you're doing something virtually, just for a second, just to forget. And Beer Fest is really easy to do so because you're drinking, but just for a second, I want you to forget. And that's the goal of Virtual Memphis Beer Fest. Get your tickets now. Let's look at this slew of let's talk food for a moment. Let's talk food. We always like talking about food. Yesterday, looking back at the year, so many restaurants we had to say goodbye to, but also so many restaurants have opened, including some just in the past couple of days. What's on the restaurant forecast for 2021, specifically as far as openings and closings go? Do we know of?
Well, I believe New Year's Day, we are getting a restaurant called Dory from Chef Krog in Memphis, and that's going to be in East Memphis on Brookhaven Circle. It's going to be a small, fine dining, really creative, really good food kind of place. And again, I think they're opening on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, so technically 2021. And I'm sure they're going to have all their precautions in place, but that's one that's been a long time coming from Chef Krog. And so I think a lot of people are looking forward to that. And actually that whole strip on Brookhaven Circle is once Dory opens, and once hopefully in 2021 we'll have some Hog and Hominy opening maybe by the end of the year. Knock on wood. Hog and Hominy was destroyed by a fire earlier this year. They've been rebuilding or starting a rebuild, so hopefully next year we'll have that. Here's one, and you know how we feel about chains, restaurants. They do play a part in the community. They employ people in the community. They employ locals. A lot of them are franchised, owned by locals, but we like to support the small places. However, when Torchy's Tacos, Texas-based taco joint, announced that they were coming to Memphis, everyone lost their minds.
I had never heard of them until that announcement. They're coming from Austin, Texas.
I think that's where they're headquartered. That's where I've had Torchy's, in Austin. Actually, when I was in Austin for 4 or 5 days, I went to Torchy's twice.
What? Is that good?
It was pretty good. I really liked it. It's definitely I don't know whether we would say it's Tex-Mex or Americanized tacos. I'm going to let the experts in Texas decide how we're going to categorize it. It does kind of remind me in some ways of the El Mero taco situation, where you've got a fried chicken taco and you've got super fresh ingredients and all kind of crazy toppings. But whether you are here for the Torchy's train or not, it's supposed to open in Memphis in 2021.
It's opening in that spot that, as we mentioned during our 2020 recap, has already had quite a few new openings over there by Gibson's Donuts in East Memphis. So it's going to be on Mendenhall. That's opening, but that's not the only taco place that's opening. Cooper Young is scheduled to be getting a brand new taco restaurant, right? Margaritas is opening at the corner right across the street from Cafe Olay and Cooper Young, and right down the road from Maciel's, which just opened this week. Maciel's Taco, which puts 3 Mexican restaurants in Cooper Young. Is Cooper Young now trying to take the Mexican restaurant title from Summer Avenue?
I know you want to do this, Kevin. I know you want to set this up and have a wrestling match between the Cooper Young taco places and Summer taco trucks and taquerias. I don't think, even as much of a powerhouse and how awesome Maciel's is, and for people who are asking, yes, the Cooper Young Maciel's is owned by the same original owner as the downtown location. It's not the same Highland Strip situation. Even as good as that is, I don't know if Cafe Olay and Margaritas, which is part of a huge regional chain of your standard Tex-Mex places, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull their weight against some of our beloved spots on Summer Avenue.
Some are very authentic on Summer Avenue, but it really is going to be. And again, you're tracking Memphis in May has been canceled. For a moment, I thought, though, okay, well, maybe Cinco de Mayo and Cooper Young was going to be the place to be. And it will be maybe, but maybe not till 2022. We'll see. But if you have those 3 Mexican restaurants within walking distance to each other, and you still have to-go booze happening, it seemed like that's a possible destination for Cinco de Mayo. But we'll see where.
You're putting dangerous ideas into people's heads, Kevin.
Look, please drink responsibly. Please party responsibly here in 2020. Don't do anything crazy. But
I definitely see people though getting these takeout margaritas, some takeout tacos, and go on a full taco margarita Cooper Young crawl and do it safely. I could see it happening. It's not a bad thought.
I think it's definitely a possibility that you could do it safe, yeah. But anyway, down the line, that's happening though. Margaritas is going to open. The signs are up already, and there's going to be multiple Mexican restaurants now in that area of Midtown. Do we have any other restaurants? So that's quite a few that we know of already that are opening as far as restaurants. But there's also a couple of restaurants that we may be losing in 2021 yes, there's more than are on this list, but these are I want to talk about a couple of them that we know of right now that are on the ropes, that are possibly they're up for sale. Really, you can buy them. They have GoFundMe's. A couple of these. We want to talk about these restaurants that we It's very rare that, you get the diagnosis that you might lose the restaurant before you actually lose it.
Right. And this is, you and I mentioned briefly earlier when we were getting ready for this, this is almost like aspirational. Like, this is what I hope will happen in 2021. But we've got 3 iconic Memphis places that are, as you say, on the ropes. So, of course, Ernestine and Hazel's has been closed throughout the entire pandemic, and now it is up for sale. I hope in 2021 what we will see is a local investor, a group of local investors that are committed to keeping our, most haunted favorite downtown South Main dive bar the way that it is, keeping that alive and keeping that the special place that it is, have them purchase it. So hopefully we'll see that happen.
Ernestine and Hazel's for sale.
Yeah.
So they have not been selling soul burgers at all. They have been closed throughout the pandemic. They're a bar, I guess. Even though I go there for. I mean, yeah, they're definitely a bar. But I mean, the bar. We're not going to get into the bar or restaurant classification. But anyway, it's disappointing that you can't, for many reasons, like you can't go to Ernestine and Hazel's, get that soul burger, and then walk over to that new powerhouse Malco and watch the new Pixar movie Soul, and right after that. But both of you can't do either one of those things this year. Anyway, all right. So Ernestine and Hazel's for sale. But that's not the only restaurant for sale. We found out that just in the past 24 hours.
Yep. Summer Avenue Institution, Bryant's Breakfast, also is now for sale. They have been open and closed in various states of takeout, not takeout throughout the last few months. There's been some controversy with some of their policies. Regardless of all of that, the restaurant is for sale. Bryant's Biscuits, famous in Memphis. Most people consider it to be the best breakfast in town. And, they were a type of place that you're going to have a long line out the door. You're going to have a crowd of people. It was cash only for years and years and years. It was like definitely a place that depended on high volume, cash money, people piling up starting at 7 a.m. on weekends. And, that business model is going to be really challenging in 2020. So I hope in 2021, what we'll see is a buyer and investor, somebody who knows what they're doing and can kind of take the things that we love the most about Bryant's, be it their and gravy, yes, and bring in something new to keep it going. But I think that landmark needs to stay.
I agree. I think it does need to stay. Man, it's crowded. When I think of Bryant's, yes, their food is good. I would prefer somebody to go pick it up for me and bring it to me when I'm getting Bryant's. But yeah, there's something, and I hope somebody buys it and they figure out a way. How do we figure out that you're not only cramped in that line, but if you're not in the line, like if you're eating there, you're sitting right next to the line. It's just so crowded. This is so crowded at Bryant. But hopefully it sticks around, because you can count the Memphis's top breakfast places on one hand, and it's one of them.
It absolutely is. There's another beloved place in Memphis too. This is the last one that we were going to talk about. I think that was questionable future. They are still open, I believe. Things change day to day, but the P&H Cafe, the Poor and Hungry, there on Madison, a Midtown dive bar institution, a place for artists and comedians to cut their teeth, open mic nights, trivia nights, legendary karaoke, pool tables, all the things that you need in a dive bar. Next to them is going up a giant multi-million-dollar apartment complex. They need to move to a new location. And right now they've got a GoFundMe going to help them get into that to be determined new location. So the P&H is going to be very different in 2021 regardless. I just really, really hope that it is still the P&H, even if it's in a new location. So
it could be. It's a matter of, will P&H close, or will it become the new High Tone, where it's like switching locations and keeping the same vibe going on. So P&H, they're having many different fundraisers for them. You can, if you look for that, not only the GoFundMe, but there's auctions and in different ways that you can get involved. You want to try to save the place. It's the place where Craig Brewer wrote Hustle and Flow inside of, but they're moving for sure. It's right over there next to where Cash Saver is on Madison, but that and they're building that in that open field, and they needed to put something there. And it's great. We're getting some new apartments in the Midtown area. But it is sad driving by and seeing slowly that mural that's on the side of it get blocked where you can't see it, right? Like you got to get at the right angle now to see it. That is somewhat sad. So hopefully we can save some of these restaurants. Before we keep going, we are previewing 2021. I do want to let y'all know this portion of the show is being brought to you by Secret Memphis. That's Holly's book. If you've not gotten that yet, you still can get it and buy it in time for Christmas. Secret Memphis. Go to secretmemphis.com. Holly's book is available now. If you want an autographed copy, if you live within the Memphis area, you can still buy it and get the copy delivered to you before Christmas. It is a perfect stocking stuffer. It came out this year. Secret Memphis. My goodness, if you have anybody who loves Memphis or just lives in Memphis, everybody who lives in Memphis needs one of these books. Secretmemphis.com. Pick it up today. Holly, where are we going next on this journey?
So adjacent to restaurants, adjacent to restaurants, we've got 2 hotels that 95% sure are going to open in 2021, and they're both going to have restaurants and rooftop bars in them. The first one that I'm totally confident about is going to open is the Overton Square Hotel, which has completely changed the landscape of the Overton Square area. I hope by the end of 2021, we will see like the ideal form of that whole district, which would be a bustling hotel with a restaurant, rooftop bar, all of the theaters in the area, Hattiloo, Playhouse, Ballet Memphis, Theater Memphis, not Theater Memphis, but all the other ones that are in the area,
Theater Works, I believe, right? Theater
Works, thank you. Theater Works, all of those, having something going on. Obviously, we've got a ton of restaurants and shops over there, and the whole place is just bustling and full it up. By the end of the year,
rooftop bar, that's what locals have to look forward to for this new hotel. They're going to have a rooftop bar.
We need more rooftop bars in Memphis for sure, and we especially need them downtown, which is lucky because pretty sure in 2021, One Beale, the long talked about development on Riverside at Beale, the Hyatt Centric is supposed to open there.
One Beale is going to open in 2021. We're into the what we hope is going to happen section here. Really? Is this really going to happen? This is one of those. I mean, the Pyramid eventually opened as a Bass Pro. So as far as long-running conversation, joke somewhat in the city, is sure that will happen when the Bass Pro opens, and that would happen when One Beale is finished. One Beale is going to happen.
At least
I've seen it. It's going up. It's going up.
Yeah, I was dodging construction driving through there earlier today. So it's definitely happening. That hotel, the Hyatt Centric, is going to have a rooftop bar and restaurants inside too. So that's going to change our skyline in Memphis. One thing we sort of talked about a little bit for 2020 because it's been happening, but is definitely going to open in very early 2021. If not open for conventions and full of people, the building itself will be completed. The Renaissance Convention Center, formerly the Cook Convention Center. It's amazing. I think, Kevin, this is one of those things just like the Bass Pro. And I remember when the Bass Pro Pyramid opened, I had to go in there and show people that it was real because they didn't believe me. Even though there was an announcement, and they're like, oh, this opened. They're like, yeah, right. I think I'm going to have to do the same with the Renaissance Convention Center because that's just been talked about. Their renovation has been talked about for so long, but it's happening. It's going to be full of local art. It's beautiful. There's natural light, and there's a balcony that overlooks the river and the pyramid.
Have you been in, or you have been?
I have not been in for a construction tour, but my colleagues have. I've seen video. I've seen pictures. I know several of the artists that have been working on their murals and their sculptures for inside and outside of the building. And I'm just really impressed. And it's on schedule pretty much. And it's happening 2021. This is not aspirational.
That one we know for sure. It's because it's pretty much done now from what I've seen. And I drove by that when I was downtown the other day too, just peeking in. It's a long awaited. It's going to be something that's going to help the city for sure. to have that remodeled convention center, the Renaissance Convention Center opening for sure. So that's the big opening. That's the big thing we know is going to happen. Do we scheduled on the list here? This seemed like ages ago, but the Memphis International Airport remodel was supposed to be completed by 2021. Is this something or as far as we know, are they still on track and on budget here?
Yeah, as of a couple weeks ago, the latest update that I got is that it is on schedule for the modernization, is where they're using of B concourse in the airport mid 2021. So I don't know who's going to be in it to fly somewhere, but it'll be ready. It'll be ready for us by the middle of next year.
Hopefully flights should increase by then. But yeah, they're running at a even smaller. We thought it couldn't get any worse at the airport as far as the number of flights and people. But the pandemic has hit all airports pretty hard. And maybe we'll save it for another time. But I'm a little frustrated with what's happening with the reports this week about the airport. In the last,
a little slice of what's troubling you. Just a little bit.
Well, there's still time. I think there is time, Holly, for you and I and other influential Memphians there that maybe we can sway it. So 2 years ago on my radio show, you joined me and CJ Hurt and Greg Akers from the Memphis Business Journal. And we reimagined the Memphis airport and came up with all the cool, great ideas that could be there. Because as we travel to different airports, most people do this. You see places and things that you really, really like that are local and really showcase the place that you're visiting, and our airport obviously lacking that, or so I thought we were lacking it. But now with the plans that are coming up, it seems like we have more local options currently at Memphis International than what are in the plans that are what in the works here for the new airport. They're bringing out we're gonna have a Chick-fil-A, which everybody was like, yay, there's gonna be a Chick-fil-A in the airport. I guess that means your airport seems big time. Yes. Do I eat at Chick-fil-A's in airports? Yes, I do. Shout out to the Charlotte Airport Chick-fil-A. But that's not what I want at my airport. I mean, I'm fine with a Chick-fil-A if it's next to a Gibson's Donuts or a Muddy's Bake Shop or a airport, a Huey's 2 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Huey's 2. I want that.
But the announcement there's going to be a Chili's, which is fine too. That makes you seem big time, I guess, if you've got a Chili's at your airport. Dunkin' Donuts, Chili's, and Chick-fil-A were the three they announced this week, with no plans to have any Memphis barbecue at the moment. We are losing Interstate Barbecue, Jim Neely's Interstate Barbecue from the airport. And in fact, I'm very confused on the Lenny's story as well. And Lenny's is a great part of our airport that many people don't realize it is. Like from Mr. Belden, Dennis Haskins, who I've talked to many times, who flies through Memphis, would always get Lenny's when he came through because he loved those Lenny's subs. Lenny's is a local restaurant too. So I'm very confused on whether or not we're going to still have Lenny's, but we got to have a barbecue restaurant in Memphis International Airport.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen between now and then, but I could feel your disappointment through the airwaves when they didn't use any of our ideas from our think tank.
I don't think they got to use our ideas, but how we're going from having one of the best barbecue restaurants in town at the airport to having none. But there's still a chance. There's still a chance, they say. But we're trying to be optimistic here. We're trying to look forward to great things that are happening. Are there other things that we know of that are going to occur this year, coming up in 2021?
So Tomley Park will not be finished. The renovation of Tomley Park, total redo of our riverfront, essentially, or that part of our riverfront, won't be done in 2021. But we're definitely going to see some movement and some progress. They had a virtual ceremonial groundbreaking on one portion of that, the bluff area that they're making into accessible switchback ramp so that you can go down the bluff if you use a wheelchair or whatever. Oh, cool. They're going to be working on that part first. They call it the cut back bank. I don't know. That part is still growing on me. Cut bank, whatever it is, guys. Cut bank bluff. There you go. Still got to work on that. I'm not sure I'm in love with the name, but they're going to be working on that throughout the year. So I think people are going to start to see it come together. Whether they're going to be happy about it or not remains to be seen. But I think by the time that it's all completely done in 2 more years, I think we're going to end up being really happy with it. But
the construction is going to start in 2021. It's not going to finish. But in a year that the Music Fest is canceled, you would think it would be a good year to let's ramp up that construction. Let's get it over with, because there was the talk about moving those festivals while construction was going to go on. And if you're not having at least one of them, it would be a good year to get that over with. If that's still the case, I don't even know if they're still planning on shutting it down. So Tom Lee Park's going to be under construction.
Mm-hmm.
That won't be completed for a while. What they're going to? What about Liberty Park? What about Liberty Park?
Liberty Park is the new name for the fairgrounds. If you didn't know, we got to rebrand stuff and rename stuff. So Liberty Park just announced a couple of weeks ago that they're putting in a High Five, which is like an entertainment center. What all do they have at the High Five, Kevin? They have.
Oh, this is going to be some type of entertainment complex. I mean, people are comparing it to like Putt Putt or a main event, but it's going to have state-of-the-art laser tag arena, golf simulators, rope courses, escape rooms, axe throwing, as well as a virtual reality and video game arcade, restaurant and bars. And supposed to have the miniature golf there as well. And I think I'm sure I'm leaving something off, but they're going to have everything that you've seen at any one of those. Maybe no go-karts. Maybe there's no go-karts. That's maybe the only thing missing here. I don't see go-karts or bumper boats, but it's got almost everything else.
Right. And, like everything, people had mixed reaction to this, but I do want to provide a little bit of context to the High Five entertainment complex, which sounds like it's going to be like every kid is going to want to go to it. It's right next to, or it will be right next to, in 2021, a youth sports complex. So we're talking like all the kids playing competitive baseball are going to come to Midtown Memphis, Liberty Park, right there by the Coliseum. There's going to be hotels there. There's going to be the fields or the, whatever facilities for all their tournaments. And then what are the kids going to do after their games are over? Or what are they
between the games even?
Yeah. So that's why they're doing it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's going to be finished next year. I feel like they're aiming for it. So we may have something totally new and that'll really change that part of Midtown and Orange Mound as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. We don't know what the Coliseum is going to be yet. So aspirational thing. We'll learn something about the Coliseum in 2021.
Oh yeah, true. So High Five is opening possibly.
Right.
Possible. We've got. Let's see what's on the agenda. Let's talk movies. I want to talk some movies here. Or is there anything else you can think of that would be like restaurants or food? Because High Five that's such a big project as far as it's not just a regular restaurant. Anything else?
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it would be weird if I didn't talk about it. It was announced this year that Wahlburgers is going to open in the Pyramid at some point in the future. I feel like it's entirely possible that if they wanted to, they could get that up and going in 2021. But my post on Facebook about the Wahlburger restaurant from famed acting family, the Wahlbergs, was like the most popular thing that I posted this year, which is depressing.
The most popular post was about Wahlburgers that we've got to talk about. I think for sure it's happening in 2021. I don't think they've announced that, but guessing from what I've seen from Bass Pro, I think they've already are not calling that Uncle Buck's restaurant. So I think they're ready to make that switch as soon as they can, but probably doesn't make sense in the middle of the pandemic to open up Wahlburgers. But maybe they will, because we've seen restaurants do it. But they may be waiting just till things get somewhat back to normal. later on in 2021. But I am confident that's going to happen in 2021 if it happens. The only thing that's making me think it's not going to happen, weren't we supposed to have Wahlburgers on Beale Street at one point?
Yeah, and that fell through. I don't know why. Honestly, it makes more sense to have it in something like the Pyramid, which is a landmark known around the world. This is my thought on it. So that post was super, super popular, especially with out-of-town people. I guess Wahlburgers has been like a reality TV show on A&E for
I've never seen it.
Something. Okay, I'd never heard of that. Like my mom told me about that. So I'm hoping that it'll get people excited about coming to Memphis, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Wahlburgers and we're gonna have the Pyramid. But then while they're here, they will also discover some things with some more local flavor. So that's me doing some mental gymnastics on being excited about the Wahlburgers in 2021.
Well, you should be. Okay, so let's say they were going to be on Beale Street, and then now they're going to be opening in the Bass Pro. So let's say they scratch the Bass Pro plan. We're not saying that's going to happen. Is there another iconic Memphis location they could say they're opening up in? I mean, because they've picked like two of the biggest ones you could possibly say you're going to open up in. You're going to open up on Beale Street or the Pyramid. Is there another one that's still out there?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to Wahlburgers Whitehaven. Right by Graceland. I mean,
we're opening up like in the jungle room. They're doing because it's Wahlburgers like Wild or something, right? So it's supposed to be
that's right. It's supposed to be like some game, some wild, I don't know, bison burgers or whatnot, instead of just.
We're gonna find out is Marky Mark an Elvis fan or not. But yes, Graceland, I would have to be that. Which again, and Hallmark Channel as well needs to go with Christmas at the Bass Pro, right? Christmas at the Pyramid.
Oh my gosh,
it's going to happen in our lifetime, Holly. You're just going to have to get used to it. It's going to happen.
Okay.
What else? Anything else? The developmental building construction.
So I just got. I'm looking down. I've just got sort of a message on my phone from Andy Ashby over at Memphis Made, and I knew that this was in the works. The Ravine, a new development over in the Edge Medical District, and Memphis Made Brewing's second brewery taproom area. He's telling me that construction is coming along. They're making progress. He sent me a picture of their future patio that I'll share when we put this out on the blog.
Oh, wow, awesome.
He's saying I think it's mid 2021. He said, well, we'll see. We don't, like we said at the beginning of this, we don't really know what's going to happen, but he's thinking that that's going to open in mid 2021. And now that's a large space and development in that area that's going to be mostly outdoors. Kind of like Grind City Brewing opened this year, and they have a huge lawn, plenty of room to spread out and stay out in the fresh air. So I'm really excited about the Ravine or Memphis Made 2 or whatever we want to call it opening.
It's not just Memphis Made, which Memphis Made by itself would be fine. And it's the second location of Memphis Made, which was on our preview a year ago for 2020. It was supposed to open this year, but COVID, of course, has changed so many different plans. So that's definitely going to happen in 2021, and I do think probably it falls into that when it's going to be the best time to open, but also getting it finished. So because it's a whole new area, it's going to be like a new, not necessarily maybe it really is. It's kind of like a new little district. It's because is it part of the Edge district, or is it between the Edge and something else? Or
it's definitely part of it. It's
part of the Edge. Okay.
Yeah, right there, with like near former Kudzu's building by Edge Alley and High Cotton. The new Slim and Huskies that just opened, Sun Studio, kind of all of that. Chef Tam's opened this year there. I think that area has so much promise, and it's going to be a really cool place to just
walk. Get the trolley. They got to get. This is not happening in 2021 out there, but they got to get that trolley back there on Madison and be able to drop people off right there. The Ravine. I could not remember what that was. What they're calling that area. So that's the Ravine. That's good.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's a cool. I hope that. If not, they need to. I like the name. I like the name
because they've got like a ravine there that they're turning into a place you can hang out in. So I'm really excited about that. I'm glad.
if you're ready, let's talk movies for a moment. So the Indie Memphis Film Festival announced something really cool for early in 2021. Because this is like, we're talking about the Virtual Memphis Beer Fest. We know for sure that's happening. This is something we know for sure is happening as well, unless Sundance takes a, but it seems like this is a COVID planned Sundance Film Festival that's happening next year. And they're doing like satellite locations, and Memphis is one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's really exciting. Indie Memphis is just, being amazing this year with all their programming they put out. And this is kind of like the cherry on top of getting this Sundance satellite designation.
And so that's coming up early, first quarter, because really we need some stuff coming up to look forward to after the holidays. And that will be I think it's around February-ish time of the year, but also coming out next year. It's in the movie theaters, maybe, I don't know. Amazon owns it now, I believe. But Coming to America 2, or I think it's just called Coming to America with a 2 in the middle. But Coming to America, directed by Memphis' own Craig Brewer, will finally get its release in 2021, with so many other movies that were supposed to come out this year. That movie was supposed to come out this month, I believe, and as now will be coming out in 2021. Eddie Murphy's on a roll. Dolomite, streaming on Netflix. If you have not seen that, directed by Craig Brewer, is a great movie. It got snubbed in 2020 at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Coming to America 2. Coming to America with Craig Brewer. What do you know about? So a year from now, we're looking at a year from now. As we look all the way to December of 2021, we've got the what is it? Do you know this event at the Orpheum? What is this? The Orpheum's got some stuff scheduled. What is happening with that miniature golf at the Orpheum? And we did not include that on our recap last year.
We should have.
Last year, but.
The Orpheum is doing mini golf, Broadway themed mini golf on their stage, serving drinks and timed entry, and that's really cool. I think what we can say about the Orpheum and performing arts and music in Memphis for 2021 is that, given all of the creativity and all the things that all of these creative people did to sort of try to keep things afloat this year, next year we're going to see more of that, and we may even see a return to some shows at the Orpheum, at other theaters, a return to some kind of outdoor music. We were talking earlier about some of the radio stations in Memphis that have, still served us, whether it's Weevil or WYXR opened and Crosstown Concourse, and they're doing a lot of local music streaming through the airwaves and streaming online. So I guess my point is just the creativity of our Memphis arts community, whether it's film or performing arts. I know that they're going to impress us next year, and we just need to keep supporting them, whether it's, giving a donation or attending some virtual event or, really big on donations, but whatever it is, we need to keep supporting them because they keep serving us with some great stuff. So that's my big arts music bubble I wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, hopefully it's the year of the comeback for so many that we can of our artists, then we can see live music again and have live trivia, have live bingo, have live theater, all of it again in like the movie theaters. In 2021. And it's true. Like, really, we can kind of know what's happening in the next 6 months. We'd be super optimistic on what's going to happen post 4th of July. But it is, we do know, hey, this is one more thing. A year from now, Memphis will play UTM basketball in Nashville. That's not even happening here. They're playing a neutral site basketball game. Next year. Will Penny Hardaway still be the coach? I kid. He definitely will still be the coach unless he wants to leave. All right. I think that's good. I think we covered anything. Is there anything else you can think of that's happening in 2021?
I'm looking through some of these tweets. Taylor Vance says he is looking forward to Ja Morant in 2021 and what he does. I'm with you, Taylor. Something to look forward to. I'm looking through this. A lot of people.
Ja Raff. Is he watching the development of Ja Raff there at the Memphis Zoo?
We can look forward to that too. Old boy's going to be real tall by the end of the year.
He will be. Yeah.
Sheely TN says, I hope we get some Memphis Redbirds games in 2021.
I think it's possible.
I don't know. Possible.
Late start, maybe.
Could say what they're hoping for. So, you know, we're all trying to get through this. Eric S says he wants to go to football games at the Liberty Bowl. I mean, the Liberty Bowl is happening, but I think this person means some more Tigers games, some more comfy things to do. Evan wants to see Julian Baker and Phoebe Bridgers at the Orpheum. Again, like, hopefully we get some live music next year, or we are getting on the way. A lot of people are having a hard time with this. A lot of the responses are reflecting that, and that's okay too. I do hope that today we've given a couple of shining, hopeful points, made some folks feel a little bit better. I know I feel a little bit better now that we've gone through our list coming off.
The past 2 days it's made me feel better about 2020. Looking forward. This is not an easy task to do every year anyway, when we get together and try to plan out, or not really plan out, but give folks something they can kind of plan their year of, like, okay, this is what's happening. It's not, this is even harder now with COVID, because it changes by the minute, really, as we found out this afternoon with Beale Street Music Fest getting canceled. So it's not easy. It's easy to remember what happened and predict what is going to happen, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, if you missed any of this, you can go back and catch the podcast on the LA Memphis podcast feed, or the Cerrito Entertainment podcast feed coming up, and listen to it or watch it on YouTube as well. I want to give a shout out, though, before we get out here. Connor Ryan, we're using his photography again here today. Connor Ryan, follow him on Instagram. We have Connor Ryan. There's his Instagram page. Give him a follow. Photo that we use for our background, and it is some of his work, and it is outstanding and awesome. Out of here, don't forget about Holly's book. You can still order now and get it in time for Christmas. It is Secret Memphis, secretmemphis.com. Also, Virtual Memphis Beer Fest tickets available at virtualmemphisbeerfest.com. Holly, it's fun. We usually talk at least once a month pre-pandemic about stuff going on in Memphis, and I've had fun catching up with you the past couple of days, and throughout the year you join me on the nonsense that I host on Thursday nights to try to entertain the city as well. So any final thoughts on 2020 or 2021?
I can't remember if I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again either way. Thank you to all of our readers, our followers, our trivia teams, all the people that have been really good sports about the way we've had to change how we do things this year, and the people that have taken the time to tune into your show, to attend the Virtual Beer Fest, to buy my book, to just support what we're doing and, you know, each other, and have a good time this year. It hasn't been easy. So anytime we've had somebody that has that positive energy too and is supportive, I just really want to thank y'all for that.
Yeah, we've made it through 2020. Well, almost here. It's almost over.
Close enough.
And 2021 is going to be it's going to be great. Thank you again, Holly. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in now, whether you're watching live or watching later on. We really do appreciate it. Happy New Year, everyone, and Merry Christmas as well. And season's greetings. Bye, Holly.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays.